Good afternoon, everyone. It is now 1 p.m. here at the Inbox 25 headquarters in New York City. So with that said, I would like to thank you all for joining today's webinar, Timeline Intelligence for Sales Agents in SugarCRM. My name is Alex Borak, and today we'll be discussing the importance of collecting analytics to further gain insight into the buyer behavior of your inbound leads as well as existing customer base. We'll then take it a step further by exploring what business intelligence means to your team and how effectively utilizing the timeline report through the several stages of a sales process will enable your sales team to win more opportunities. But before we jump into today's webinar, I just have a few housekeeping items I'd like to address. First of all, if you have any questions during today's webinar, please feel free to ask them in the GoToWebinar question toolbar down below. Post-webinar, there will be a short Q&A where I will try to answer as many questions as I can. Any questions that I am unable to answer, I will address in a follow-up email after the webinar has ended. And remember, this webinar, along with all of our other webinars, are recorded and placed on our knowledge base, as well as on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/inbox25tube. That's T-U-B as in boy, E. There is quite a collection of webinars up now, so if you haven't had a chance to view them, I highly recommend doing so. Today's webinar is the third in a series of 5 webinars for our 2016 summer series. Our previous webinars, Social Marketing and Engagement 101, was held last Tuesday, while our drip marketing webinar was held last Thursday by my colleague James Verdi. These have been posted on our YouTube channel for anyone who missed and would like to view them. And this webinar will be up shortly after. Our next webinar will be held this Thursday, 1 p.m., same time, and will highlight a broad introduction to Inbox 25, our integration with SugarCRM, and showcasing 5 use cases that have been built out by our user community. Our final webinar will be held next Tuesday at 1 p.m. and we'll be introducing Inbox 25's account-based marketing capabilities and how, with the power of our integration with SugarCRM, users can improve their ability to interact and market to contacts within the parent account. Finally, follow us on Twitter at Inbox25 to get everything up-to-date Inbox. We routinely post Inbox 25 updates, industry knowledge, business news, new content, as well as anything that comes together from our blog or knowledge base. And of course, anything else related to the world of marketing automation. So there's a lot of neat and handful of content out there. We also have a LinkedIn user group as well as a Facebook page. So now that our housekeeping is out of the way, let's jump right into today's presentation. So first of all, I want to talk about the evolution of business intelligence. Now, to go through this evolution, I just want to take you through the phases of very possible business growth. So when a firm just starts out, it is very plausible that the first thing they will invest in is CRM, or customer relationship management. Now, with the CRM, in regards to business intelligence, what is the exposure to the average sales agent? How can the sales agent be able to define how engaging, or at what level in engagement, or what level in the buying process are his or her assigned leads? How qualified is each respective lead? What are the next steps? Simply put, with a CRM in place only, no marketing technology, no plugins, no integration, the only information located in the CRM for the sales agent's exposure is exactly that. See, the CRM is a data repository which allows sales agents and the broader marketing team to look at the varying customer relationships and manage them accordingly. There's also intensive sales tracking capabilities located within the CRM. However, with this approach, it is mission critical that your team is putting all the data that they need to be able to track these one-to-one engagements. So As far as campaign response from digital communications, social engagement, if a lead was on your website or what information they provided in the past, well, simply put, that's not there. Only information that your team is entering is located in the CRM. So then you go to our next phase, which is you then go ahead and you implement some email marketing software and email marketing technology. So now you're beginning to get better insight into how your leads and your marketing database as a whole are interacting with your digital communications. So now the sales agent has exposure to what campaigns have been sent to their assigned leads, what the responses were, and from these campaign responses, they're now able to prioritize and categorize their leads and determine next touch points from there. However, there is still a key missing piece in this equation related to the sales agent, which is, what does a lead do post-campaign response? I sent out a newsletter, and my assigned lead clicked through to my website. I know that they clicked on the link, but I have no clue as to what pages they were on the website, how long they were on the website, if they came back, and if they downloaded any interesting white papers or other premium content that we have on the website. So there's still a significant lapse in business intelligence for my sales team to be able to make informed decisions and other judgment calls based on what their assigned leads are doing purely on campaign response. So then, of course, the business can go back to the drawing board and say, you know what? We need a series of plugins and integrations that are going to handle very specific tasks. I need a plugin for web activity and associated analytics. I need a plugin to handle my forms on my website and submission capabilities, and I need a plugin for social engagement. So the theory with this approach is by picking and choosing specific plugins and integrations, I'm now going to give my sales team the exposure that they need to determine what happens post-campaign response from digital communications. However, even with this approach, there are two distinct disadvantages that can hamper the sales team's ability to gain the insight they need at the time that they need it in order to progress a lead further down the buying process. One distinct disadvantage, is that all data and insight is decentralized. If I need to know what pages of a website my assigned lead went on, I now need to go into application, let's just say A. But if I wanted to know if they provided their information through any one of our various forms, I now need to go into application B. So with this decentralized view of business intelligence, it's more time intensive for me as a sales agent to be able to identify key performance indicators which prove where my leads are heading based off of events and touch points that they may or may not complete. Now that this disadvantage actually goes into my second disadvantage, which is it's very possible that me as a sales agent, I don't even have access to this application. There may be an application administrator that is separate from the sales team. They have a separate role. So now I have to go ahead and put in a request for this information. You know, hey, I would like to know what pages lead ABC visited over the last 2 days. Now, it's very possible that this process can take, say, just for the sake of painting a picture, 24 hours. So when I request this information, I'm now going to get a response 24 hours later. Meanwhile, my lead could have gone to another competitor, they could have looked at another product, or maybe another sales agent picked up the slack where I left off. So to further reinforce the need for a sales agent to not only have a centralized location for data, but also the ability to have your sales agents pick up this business intelligence in real time, I want to reference a Harvard Business Review use case that came out in 2011. So with the Harvard Business Review study, they looked at approximately 2,500 businesses. And they wanted to look at what the response time was for the businesses from a web-generated lead. And what they found is that businesses who took longer than 24 hours to respond to a web-generated lead are 60 times less likely to close that opportunity than those who responded within 1 hour. Now, just to draw a stark comparison, those who responded in a little over an hour, 7 times less likely than those who responded within that hour. So by my sales agent needing to wait an entire 24 hours to receive just a little snippet of analytics to be able to make that next informed decision on what to do with their assigned lead, I've now reduced the likelihood that this lead may purchase from my firm by 60-fold. So, of course, the next phase in growth is for the firm to then enroll in marketing automation software, of course. So with marketing automation, the end user is now able to integrate web activity, lead capture forms, social engagement, a host of other features in one centralized location. Now, with Inbox 25's fully integrated marketing automation solution, you can now empower your sales agents to not only have real-time data flow between the marketing automation platform and the CRM, viewable, by the way, both in Inbox 25 as well as SugarCRM, but you are now also giving them the ability to influence further marketing or sales processes. Enter our Timeline Intelligence Report. So the Timeline Report provides the ability to analyze up to 35 different touch and engagement points, ranging from all things email campaign related, lead capture form information, specific visitor web activity, viewing progress within their automated and other marketing programs, as well as response and engagement with social media. The sales agent has the ability of applying filters to the touch points to view the most priority events before ever picking up the phone and calling that lead, or before ever having a face-to-face with that lead. Now, Inbox 25 at the team, we went even further with our Timeline Report with our account-based marketing release. Once again, if you have not signed up yet, I strongly encourage you to view our webinar on account-based marketing, as it's going to go much more in-depth into how the native sugar relationship between the account or parent and contact-child relationship can be leveraged. Respective to today's webinar, I'm just going to be highlighting how the functionality of the timeline can impact the sales agent and how the sales agent can utilize this account-based marketing approach integrated with SugarCRM. Respective of the account-based marketing approach, what a sales agent from a very high overview is able to do is identify progress with each individual contact that may be associated with an account and market to them or sell to them each differently, or they can also market to them collectively. Lastly, the Timeline Report allows the sales agent to sort activity by contact such as opportunities and provide better tracking on the sales front of the account as a whole with an aggregate lead score or the company score, as well as the sum of the individual lead scores of any and all contacts associated with that account. Now, our Timeline Intelligence Report is a one-stop hub for all data related to an individual record, viewable once again right within the record profile of SugarCRM. There's no necessity for the sales agent to have access to the Inbox 25 application. However, it's very possible for them to gain access with their very own sub-user account. As long as our Inbox 25 module, and I must stress this, as long as the Inbox 25 module is configured for the respective Sugar user's account, they will absolutely be able to view the Timeline Report for any and all records that are assigned to them. So what does this mean, configuring the module? Simple. When we refer to configuring the module for a Sugar user, it means that when the Sugar user clicks on the Inbox 25 module while logged into SugarCRM, they are able to see the Inbox 25 dashboard. Hey, Alex. Now, if the user clicks on the Inbox 25 module and they're met with our setup wizard, that would mean that the module has not been configured to date. Now, the setup wizard is a very simple step process, takes about 2 to 3 minutes, and then you go ahead and you're now able to view the timeline report for any and all assigned record owners. Now, respective to configuring the module for any and all Sugar sales agents, we found 3 common approaches that our users have adopted to date. So the first approach is to create a unique Inbox 25 sub-user for any and all of your sales agents. You then have them log into their respective SugarCRM accounts and configure the module with the Inbox 25 sub-user credentials that you as the admin provided them. Now, one, I suppose, challenge to this is if you have an ever-changing sales staff. So the admin will then have to go ahead and create sub-user logins each and every time a new user signs on. So that goes into the second approach that we've seen our users adopt, which is to create one sub-user and then have any and all teammates and colleagues who you do not wish to necessarily access the Inbox 25 application, but nonetheless, you'd like them to utilize the timeline report. So once again, you have all your respective users go in to SugarCRM, click on the Inbox 25 module, and they're now going to use the same credentials for that Inbox 25 sub-user. The last approach is to then simply configure the Inbox 25 module on all your Sugar user accounts with the Inbox 25 admin credentials. Now, I say this is an approach to do it, but it's very critical that if you are going the latter approach, that you are hiding the module using Sugar permissions as a Sugar administrator, because by configuring the module with the Inbox 25 administrative credentials, you are now giving full access to any and all Sugar users who can access the Inbox 25 module while logged into SugarCRM. Now, just a quick note, when you create an Inbox 25 sub-user, the username for that person will be the email address, and of course the password is whatever you defined when you created that Inbox 25 sub-user. But let's get back to timeline. So let's talk about the functionality of the timeline report from a high overview and then drill right back down into the benefits and features. So first of all, the timeline report, when you're viewing it from a lead or a prospect record, has 3 tabs for the sales agent to assess. The timeline tab, which is checked by default when you click on a record, will detail a history or timeline of the lead, allowing the end user or your sales agents to filter between the varying touch points to view the most recent data related to those filters that were applied. The profile tab allows the end user to see all data fields in the respective module that has been synced with Inbox 25. And of course, if there isn't a value within any of those data fields, we show you the label or item name, as it's sometimes referred to, for each respective data field pertaining to that record profile. We then have the Manage console for the agent to then be able to better engage with their assigned leads. For example, post-successful call, the agent has the ability of sending a one-off thank you SMS with our Twilio integration. Perhaps there was a support query that the agent wasn't able to address, so they can generate a support ticket with our Zendesk integration. There's a chance a lead may be interested in your upcoming webinars, so your agent now has the flexibility of automatically enrolling the lead into one or multiple webinars with our GoToWebinar integration. Another possibility is the lead may need more time before making a purchasing decision. Therefore, more nurturing or more drip will be involved. So your sales agent now has the power of entering that lead into an Inbox 25 drip campaign, where the lead may receive an email immediately after being enrolled and then follow a static schedule from there. Or you can have your sales agent apply an Inbox 25 tag, which would then influence a further automated marketing program, perhaps nurturing them, routing them to a different sales agent, scheduling a follow-up call. Lastly, the agent can manually augment the score of a lead based off of a criteria that cannot necessarily be found in a digital communication in the digital space. I'll give you a great example. Let's just say I had someone call me up. I'm a sales agent selling resort trips and other timeshare packages, and they called me up and said, yep, I'm ready to buy now. There is no email response, no web activity that is going to be able to tell the greater marketing and sales team what transpired beyond this call, past the sales agent being able to then manually augment the score by a value that is commensurate with that high priority event. In this case, the lead calling up and simply stating, I would like to purchase now. This is a very, very real possibility and is the most clearly defined key performance indicator, i.e. someone blatantly saying, hi, I would like to purchase. So now, before we get into the demonstration portion of today's webinar, I wanted to conclude and summarize what the key takeaways and key benefits are for the sales team. Of course, I also want to share some insight as to how the marketing team can also see immediate advantages to the timeline report. So, first of all, from a sales agent perspective, you're now enabling your sales agents to track up to 35 different touch points for their assigned records in real time and able to make informed decisions based off this real-time data coming into SugarCRM. You're providing the agents a management console, which is now allowing them to influence further sales or marketing decisions. You're now putting the power in your sales team to be able to identify behavioral tendencies or key performance indicators that may be critical to personalized messaging, as well as critical to informing the marketing team what a common denominator has been occurring to further influence possibly the automated marketing programs. And of course, last but not least, you're giving the sales agents the ability to analyze revenue from contacts or contacts associated with an account or an account. Now, with the marketing team, some core benefits. As a marketer, you have the ability of enrolling specific or all contacts that are associated with a parent account into a highly targeted drip campaign. So if you notice, for example, that an account is in the industry of manufacturing, and you see that there's a drip campaign related to manufacturing, as the marketer, you now, with a few clicks of a button, can automatically enroll specific contacts, maybe pertaining to their title, into a drip campaign. A marketer is also able to see the social engagement history that leads have via the timeline report. What you'll see a little later is Inbox 25 has the ability of linking social profiles to target records inside your CRM. Once that link, albeit a manual process, once that link is made, you're now able to see the entire social connect engagement right within the timeline view for each and every linked record. Once again, as the marketer, you're able to assign an Inbox 25 tag, which would then categorize that lead or possibly prioritize that lead to the sales team. If you noticed that a lead downloaded your pricing sheet on your website, you can then go ahead and prioritize that lead to the sales team by defining a tag of viewed pricing. When the sales agent then goes into the lead and looks at any tags that have been applied to that individual, they'll be able to see that tag has been applied and take action immediately. Lastly, in addition to the sales team being able to identify key performance indicators, the marketing team is also very able and willing to identify key performance indicators and, of course, make their own adjustments and revisions to their automated marketing program accordingly. Now, that does it for the presentation portion. So let's quickly now go into Inbox 25. And I built out 5 use cases for your review today that is going to look at how, from a sales perspective, strictly with SugarCRM and our other third-party integrations, that a sales agent can help, say, the support team or the marketing team, simply using the timeline report. And then we'll go through a couple of the use cases related specifically to marketing and how they can further influence other touch points in marketing processes based on what the sales team has input into the CRM. So the first use case I want to go over is, let's just say that me, as a sales rep, Alex, I am engaged with another Alex via our company, Avada Hotel and Resorts. And I'm really working Mr. Borak to purchase their next great getaway. However, Mr. Borak gives me a call and lets me know that he was ready to buy. He was trying to reserve his vacation, and lo and behold, the portal to book your reservation, he was getting an error. So while logged into SugarCRM, I go to Mr. Borak's profile just to show you and prove to you I am in fact in SugarCRM. To access the timeline report, I simply go to the Timeline Intelligence tab. His report opens up, and then with a few clicks of a button, after I get off the phone with Mr. Borak, I'm now going to go ahead and log a support ticket via Zendesk. Now, before I do that, I mentioned that there are 3 tabs while you're looking at a lead or prospect. You have the timeline, which is showing you a legacy of any and all touch points. You have the profile tab, which is going to show you the label values or item names for any and all data fields you have synced with Inbox 25. And lastly, we have the Manage Console. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new support ticket for Mr. Borak. So I'm going to assign to one of our support representatives. I'm going to give the priority of urgent. Let's make this a new ticket. It's a problem, and let's go ahead and let's start filling in the blanks. So the subject would be, error reserving trip to Canary Islands. Perfect. And you know what? I want to give a little description for the support representative that's going to handle this, just so they know that the issue that Mr. Borak was having. So you can see I'm writing the ticket as we speak, and I'm going to give them a reference URL so that the solution is much easier to find. Okay, so I went ahead, I created my support ticket. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and generate that ticket. There you go, success. Your requests have been successfully submitted. So if I head back over the timeline, you can see immediately, as soon as I created that ticket, we now have this appended to the timeline. Now, we took this a step further, and just fast forwarding here. So the support agent got in touch with Mr. Borak. They were able to find a resolution to the issue. Mr. Borak has now booked their next vacation to the Canary Islands. So now what I'd like Inbox 25 to do is I'd like an email to be sent to Mr. Borak giving them a customer satisfaction survey. We'd like to know how our support is doing. Additionally, we're then going to schedule a sales call on behalf of the assigned record owner, which is going to be a follow-up call to really just say, how is everything going, how is the support, and were you able to book your vacation? So what does this look like in Inbox 25? So the workflow that I just described mapped here, and you can see Mr. Borak has already entered it. Once the ticket was solved, we will then send that email communication with the customer satisfaction survey. We're then going ahead and going to send a custom email alert to our IT support manager, just letting them know it was solved, no need to worry. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and schedule that follow-up call. So now what does that look like in Sugar? We'll go back to Mr. Borak's profile, navigate out of the timeline report, and we'll go over to calls, and here you go. The follow-up call has been logged. If we go into the call, we can then see the lead's ticket has been resolved, reach back out. Excellent. So what really happened here is the sales agent acted as a pseudo support representative, was able to deliver excellent customer service while also maintaining a real-time relationship with their lead to ensure everything was fine. Now let's go through another use case using the same lead. So this time, I give a call to Mr. Borak, and he lets me know that he's interested in our upcoming webinar, the timeshare session, session 2. We've already had our first session. He missed it. I let him know that. He was sorry. He wants to attend our next session. So while I'm on the phone with Mr. Borak, I'll say something like, hang on, Mr. Borak, give me 1 second. Let me just go ahead and enroll you in that. Head right back over to our Manage console, click on Add to Webinar, and then all I have to do is select the webinar using the GoToWebinar integration that has been scheduled in the future. Add him to the webinar, and there you go. He's now been automatically enrolled. As soon as Mr. Borak has been enrolled, he's going to receive an increase of 5 points to his lead score and an email verifying that he's going to be attending the webinar will be sent out to him. And moving forward, Mr. Borak will receive future communications when other webinars are upcoming. So what does this process look like in the Inbox 25 automation engine? Very easy. As soon as a lead has registered for the webinar, we will increase their lead score by 5 points, and then we will send them that email referencing the future webinars that we'll be having, aka the future timeshare sessions. Let's go through one more use case using Mr. Borak. And this time, I'm on the phone with Mr. Borak, and he let me know, yes, it was very interesting. I downloaded your white paper about the timeshare industry, and I thought it was really neat that you have the ability of renting multiple timeshares and getting an ROI depending on the time of year and the location of your timeshares. It's like, oh wow, that's great. Would you like some more information in the future on when we have additional white papers or other documentation on the timeshare industry? And he says, yes, of course, absolutely. Please send that my way. All right, so no problem. I'm going to go ahead back over to the Manage tab. And this time I'm going to apply an Inbox 25 tag. And I'm going to say timeshare interest. Add that new tag, save the changes, and there you go. Tag immediately applied. Once again, how does that look like in Inbox 25, and what's the follow-up? So, once my sales agent applies that Inbox 25 tag, we're now going to put them into a nurturing tool that we call our content stream, whereby the lead will receive a new piece of content or a message each and every time we have some sort of documentation or other collateral related to the timeshare industry. Now we're going to change gears, and I mentioned before that there is a slightly different view when looking at the timeline report from an account or a contact. So we have an account here, Beso Incorporated, and I noticed while looking at the several contacts associated with Beso Incorporated that we got a new contact, Mr. Joe Schmo, who is the CEO of Beso Incorporated. Great. With Avado Company Hotel and Resorts, we actually have exclusive offers and premium stays for folks that are CEOs of companies. Now, before I go into the workflow scenario that's going to enable me to enroll CEOs of these companies into a drip campaign, you may have noticed that right now we're in an account profile and the timeline is a little different. So in addition to the 3 tabs that we saw before, the Manage has now an additional option of new opportunity, which you will see in just a few short moments. However, because we're looking at the account or parent record, I'm able to look at any and all opportunities for contacts that are associated with this account. And if I wanted to, I can view the individual progress of each and every opportunity. I'm also able to see all contacts that are associated with the account. However, back to the scenario, I noticed that Mr. Schmo is a CEO and I would like to enroll him in a drip campaign so that he can receive information related specifically to CEOs for special offers. So I'll go ahead and I'll add to a drip campaign. I now have the option of including all contacts, specific contacts, or only include the parent or account record. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click a specific contact, Mr. Schmo. I will click the campaign to be enrolled in, CEO drip campaign, and just simply add to the drip campaign. Success. Awesome. So now, as soon as Mr. Schmo, or any record for that matter, is enrolled in an Inbox 25 drip campaign, you have the option and the advantage of having the very first message sent to the individual immediately. So, if you want to review the success of your drip campaign, first of all, looking at the drip campaign manager, you can look at any and all drip campaigns that you have. This is the CEO drip campaign that Mr. Schmo and other folks have been enrolled in since we began it. And if we look at the individual results, I can see that our first email has already been sent and we've already had one open. Excellent. With the drip campaign, I'll now be able to add future content as we have more special offers, more exclusive offers, as well as other information that may be specific to CEOs. And you can bet that any and all records that enrolled in the drip campaign will receive it on the next scheduled interval. As you can see from my screen, the next email is going to be deployed in 6 days, so every Tuesday morning. Okay, there's one last use case that I want to go through, and this does not necessarily imply an Inbox 25 workflow. However, you can absolutely configure an Inbox 25 workflow to complement this process. So I mentioned before that the sales agent has the ability to influence further sales and marketing processes in real time. I also mentioned a use case before where a lead may call up a sales agent and say, you know what, I want to buy now. Here's my credit card info, right? So with that in mind, right now I'm on a contact record, Mr. James Verdi, who is also associated with the account Beso Incorporated. So I just had a great conversation with James Verdi, and he mentioned to me that he wants to purchase a premium exclusive getaway package to Jamaica for him and his family. So I'm like, great, let me just get your credit card information down on the phone and we'll go ahead and we'll send you some more information. So we go through the nuts and bolts, we get the information submitted, the payment submitted. He has now booked, but I want the CRM to reflect what just occurred. So what I'm going to do is go into the Manage console one last time, and I'm actually going to generate a new opportunity. So notice the advantage here is, as a sales agent, I don't have to get out of the record profile, go into opportunities and create one, or go through the data view into the opportunity subpanel and generate one. I'm in the timeline report. I wanted to look at his last activity, and he blatantly messaged me that he would like to purchase. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the blanks here. He's purchasing one of our more exclusive packages. So we'll go ahead and give him the value. This is going to be in the close one stage. Since we had a chat, the lead source will be chat. Of course, the probability of closing is 100%. And let's just say that he got a package for 4 for a premium villa in Jamaica. And let's just give a brief description so my sales manager can view and give me a high five at the end of the day. Excuse me, on the spot. And we'll go ahead and we'll save that opportunity. Now, once that opportunity is logged, you'll then be able to go back into the parent account and view new revenue that was then accrued by the contacts associated under that account. Just a quick refresher, we go right back to the account view. We look at opportunities, and we can see the value. There you go, package for premium villa in Jamaica, automatically put right within the opportunities tab inside the timeline report for the account record. Now, I mentioned in this particular use case, there was no specific follow-up. However, a very possible scenario is once an opportunity has been logged as closed won, you may wish to then send an email communication as well as a thank you SMS to the individual and thank them for purchasing for you. So you know what, let's go ahead and do that. I go back to James Verdi. I go ahead and I'm going to send him an SMS. I just got to find where the mobile phone is located. I'm going to go ahead and say, hey James, it was great speaking to you. And it's just that easy. Go ahead, and James will receive that text message in just a few short minutes. Okay, so that does it for the 5 use cases that I wanted to highlight specific to the timeline report. As you guys can see, there are a ton of ways, a ton of processes where you can now empower your sales team to be a part of the marketing automation adoption. So at this point in the webinar, I'd love to entertain any and all questions that you guys may have. Okay, so one question we have is, can I create an opportunity with an account, with a contact if there is no associated account? Well, as you may or may not know, for an opportunity to be created natively in SugarCRM, there must be an account associated with that opportunity. So if you have a contact with no account associated with it, it'll be a little difficult to create that opportunity, as you must have that account association and relationship confirmed before being able to go ahead and generate that opportunity. Another question. I have a sales agent who was looking at a lead assigned to them, and they got a droids message when they viewed the timeline. Do you have an answer for that? Absolutely. So as I mentioned before, and I must stress again, that with any and all records, Sugar users that you would like to view the timeline report must have the module configured in order to view the timeline. As you saw from the presentation, there's 3 ways to go about doing that. You can create a sub-user for each and every sales agent. You can have one sub-user created for any and all sales agents, or you can configure the module with the inbox 25 admin credentials. Just please make sure that if you're going the latter approach, you are in fact hiding that module using the SugarCRM administrative permissions, so that your sales agents do not have full access to the Inbox 25 application. Does the drip campaign need to be activated for targets to be enrolled? Nope. You can enroll targets whenever you like. If the campaign is not activated or the emails within the campaign are activated, obviously they will not receive any communication until you go ahead and do so. But you can be rest assured, once you do activate your campaign, once you do activate your content, your leads or contacts, whoever is enrolled, will then begin receiving communications. On the SMS example, the mobile number looks like contacts company name. Correct. I just selected a data field where a mobile number was located. However, wherever your mobile numbers are stored within your record profiles, you would just simply pull from that data field, and then you can go ahead and send the SMS. Now, just a quick pro tip on the Twilio integration and SMS as a whole. It's very, very preferred that you have the country inside the mobile number. The area code is usually a great example of the country. By default, with Twilio, texts are sent using the US country code. So with the Twilio integration, what's unique is if you do put the country within the primary address country field in Sugar, that is the country code that Twilio will automatically pull when sending that SMS to your people. Is this an automatic naming function, or can we set it up to look like customer mobile number? Absolutely. With Sugar Studio, you can build custom data fields and give a display as well as label value of anything that you'd like. So that way you and your sales agents can clearly define what field is to be leveraged when sending that SMS to your contacts, leads, or accounts. So we have to designate the country code even if we're not outside the US. No, by default, the country code will be US. However, if you do have international clients where you'll be sending SMS to, as I mentioned, it's preferred that you have the country denoted, or very directly, you can have the entire mobile number located within the data fields. For instance, South Africa is country code 27, so as long as you have +27 in the field, in addition to the mobile number, it'll go ahead and work that way as well. All right, we have a lot of great questions. I'll give it a few more seconds in case there's a follow-up or another additional question. All right, that appears to be it. Well, once again, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining today's webinar. Once again, just a final reminder, we do have 2 more webinars coming up in this next series. If you haven't done so, please go ahead and sign up for those so you can get detailed insights and advantages into how you can take immediate and see immediate value with our account-based marketing approach integrated with SugarCRM. You can also gain some inspiration and other advantages by looking at 5 entire use cases. That means entire automated marketing programs that our very own user base has configured. Our solution architects will be replicating them, putting them in the environment for everyone to view. My name is Alex Bork once again. I hope everyone enjoys a great rest of your afternoon, morning, or evening, wherever you're located in the world. And have a great day. Cheers.